disorientati o completamente sotto shock. Questo è lo stato psicologico dei profughi che varcano la frontiera ucraina verso l'Europa. Nella maggior parte dei casi si tratta di donne e bambini, perché gli uomini devono rimanere in patria per combattere. Il peggio è passato? Purtroppo no, o non per tutti. In alcuni casi, al di là del confine, ci sono spietati criminali pronti ad un business disumano, quello della tratta degli esseri umani. Ne abbiamo parlato con Valentin Popescu della ONG Living Hope, che con la sua organizzazione si occupa di far viaggiare i profughi verso destinazioni sicure in Europa.
Hello, my name is Valentin Popescu. I'm a volunteer with an organization called Living Hope, and I worked as a transport coordinator at Vama Siret. We were having free transport organized from Vama Siret to Bucharest and to Oradea, and from Oradea to Vienna, Austria, and then from Vienna, Austria, everywhere around Europe, all for free. And our priority was moms with children, elderly, and the most vulnerable people with disabilities. And our priority was to send them on their way as quickly as possible, as safe as possible, and as cheap as possible, which it meant at the end of the day to be free. So while we were working at the border, we got confronted with the situation of human trafficking, and there were different people who were trying different schemes to take women and children and single women from the border to somewhere where they wanted them to go. And together with the authorities, we were working as much as we could to prevent this.
Svolgendo il proprio lavoro, Valentin Popescu ha visto con i propri occhi i criminali della tratta in azione. Un business criminale che nasconde una verità terribile.
At the end of the day, we heard about traffickers that were interested to take women and children. Some of the children might have ended up in like the porn industry, but in the same time there were some like chilling, real hard truths that some of the children might have been taken to be harvested for their organs.
In questo momento il flusso dei rifugiati alla frontiera rumena è diminuito e nel frattempo i trafficanti di esseri umani hanno cambiato le proprie strategie.
Now the flux of refugees coming across the Romanian borders is slowing down, and it's at the minimum, but in the same time all the authorities in the countries and the cities that are welcoming refugees across Europe need to pay attention, because the traffickers are changing their strategies and are finding creative ways, and now all these single moms and their children are in a very, very difficult and challenging new environment, having a lot of needs. Some of them don't have money, don't have work, don't have ways of sustaining themselves. And then they can find free accommodation, but there are still plenty of needs that they need to be fulfilled. So they are going through this very sensitive period of time in their lives, and all of them are having a hard time coping with the reality, and their mental health is very much affected by all that they went through. Some of them have lost their husbands, so they are widows already, and some of them have the challenge of thinking, what if I'm losing my husband, and where is my husband, and what's going on? So most of the stories that we heard from most of the women that were coming across the border was that they have great husbands, and they are great, amazing fathers to their children, and they have the uncertainty of not knowing when the war is stopping, when they are getting back, or at least reconnected somehow, somewhere, even if they cannot go back to Ukraine yet. So it's a lot of mental strain and a lot of pressure, emotional, spiritual, mental pressure on all parties involved, women and children, and even men that are here either fighting or assisting and serving in different ways. So yeah, we all need to pay attention and be sensitive to their needs and protect them in any way, shape and form possible.
Ed ecco come agiscono questi criminali, tendendo vere e proprie trappole a donne e bambini in difficoltà.
All these traffickers are looking like kind of nice people, and they are offering different things that are appealing to moms and their children. So based on false pretenses and false promises, they are convincing them to get in a car.
Ma fortunatamente anche le autorità rumene hanno un protocollo di contrasto al fenomeno.
And thankfully the Romanian authorities have established a protocol for transporting. It was a QR code with a database and a list for the passengers. So you had to register your transport in the system and then give information and details where the transport is going and how many passengers, and have a list of their names and passport numbers and different details.
Ma anche i volontari, i vigilantes antitratta, sono riusciti a salvare donne e bambini dai criminali della tratta.
We had many cases that we intervened, and we saved a lot of single moms and a lot of single ladies that were already chatting with different people that were promising things, and we asked them about details and informations about where are they taking them and what's going on. And then as soon as that happened, they just stopped discussing anything with those refugees, and then they stopped talking with us. So they just moved away and didn't have any communication with us. at some point we were asked if we felt threatened, but we never felt threatened, and they were trying to be undercover and as much as not stirring any emotions and not having like a confrontation, because they wanted the police to be not on their case, and not to have volunteers calling the police to ask them more questions about their whereabouts and what they were doing there. And yeah, that was
E la continua osservazione da parte dei vigilantes ci riporta come agiscono i criminali della tratta. Piccole squadre organizzate che agiscono spesso con lo stesso metodo.
as far as I can understand a little bit understand the system that they were using different people, like small cells, maybe 2-3 people, 2-3 men that were having a small car or a minivan, and one of the people was in the car or the minivan as a driver and as a person of keeping an eye on the people that were taken to the car or to the minibus, and speak with them and kind of keep them there, while the other person or the other 2-3 people were out and working on recruiting other refugees to get in the minivan or the car as quickly as possible, so they can move them out of the border area and wherever they were taking them.
È difficile sapere con certezza quante donne e bambini siano stati rapiti da queste organizzazioni, e l'ultima parte di questa intervista l'abbiamo girata in uno dei luoghi preferiti dai trafficanti, un parcheggio di un hotel a pochi metri dal confine rumeno. Qui i criminali hanno convinto molte donne a salire su mezzi che hanno fatto perdere le loro tracce.
Yeah, so there were 2 police checkpoints, and then at the first checkpoint you were not allowed to go past that point if you are not having credentials or you were checked properly. So at some point the Ukrainian citizens with Ukrainian vehicles with Ukrainian number plates were telling at the first checkpoint that they are going back to Ukraine, but actually they were stopping exactly here in the car park behind me, because this was between the 2 checkpoints, and the second police checkpoint was a little bit further up the road. So at some point the authorities realized that, and then they were checking all the papers for all the vehicles that were parked here or around the border area. So they kept on doing patrols on a daily basis. They even had like undercover police officers that were coming and asking you for ID documents and asking you for the reasons that you're here. So as soon as the authorities were told and they started red flagging people that were having suspicious behaviors, everything was dealt with in the best manner possible. But we don't know how many people were affected and how many women were taken somewhere. We don't know about them, or yeah, it's hard to have a figure, and it's hard to have a knowledge about this. So for sure there were traffickers that have taken people from here. Eu nu am adresat,